And here we are, our final episode in this journey through communication, leadership, and influence. It's been a fantastic ride, and I'm truly grateful to be here with you, Lily.
Likewise, Yogesh. What a powerful series this has been. And what better way to close it out than with a conversation about cultivating a communication culture rooted in influence and trust.
Exactly. Because no matter how skilled a leader is personally, if the culture around them doesn't support open, authentic, and trust-based communication, then influence becomes limited.
Spot on. Let's start by unpacking what we mean by a communication culture. It's the collective habits, norms, and expectations around how people communicate within a group or organization.
Right. It's everything from whether people feel safe to speak up, to how feedback is handled, to how leaders share updates and celebrate wins. It's the invisible fabric that determines whether communication is a bridge or a barrier.
And one of the clearest signs of a healthy communication culture, psychological safety. When people feel safe to express ideas, take risks, admit mistakes, they trust more, engage more, and contribute more.
Absolutely. Amy Edmondson's work on psychological safety highlights this. In high-performing teams, it's not fear that drives results, it's trust. Trust enables honest dialogue, innovation, and faster course corrections.
Let's talk about how leaders can build this. What are some of the practical behaviors that model trust-based communication?
Great question. First, vulnerability. When leaders admit they don't have all the answers, it invites others to step up and contribute.
Second, consistency. When communication is predictable, timely, and fair, it builds confidence across the board.
Third, recognition. Trust is strengthened when people feel seen and appreciated for their efforts and ideas.
And fourth, openness to dissent. When team members know that respectful disagreement is welcomed, not punished, that's a sign of deep trust.
A lot of leaders think influence comes from authority, but sustainable influence is built through trust and respect, not fear or hierarchy.
Yes, influence rooted in fear is short-lived. Influence rooted in trust endures even in crisis, even through transitions.
And speaking of crisis, we've talked in earlier episodes about how trust becomes a currency during tough times. The organizations that communicate openly, even about bad news, tend to recover faster.
Exactly. Because people would rather hear difficult truths than be kept in the dark. Trust doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means there's honesty, transparency, and a shared commitment to growth.
I want to bring in something we've hinted at through this series, rituals of communication. These are practices that reinforce culture over time, like regular check-ins, open Q&As, anonymous feedback channels, peer appreciation walls.
Yes, rituals help operationalize values. If you want a culture of influence and trust, then you need to build habits and spaces that reflect that.
Let's go even further. How can organizations audit their communication culture?
A few questions help. Do people feel heard? Are multiple voices represented in decision-making? Is feedback acted on? Are there unspoken communication norms that exclude certain groups?
I love that. And we can't forget, culture is always in motion. Leaders have to keep tending to it, adjusting based on changes in people, goals, and context.
Agreed. Leadership communication is not set it and forget it. It's an ongoing relationship, a commitment.
Let's wrap this series by talking about legacy. When leaders cultivate a communication culture rooted in influence and trust, they don't just build strong teams, they build a legacy of empowerment.
Beautifully said, Yogesh. Communication shapes culture. Culture shapes behavior. And behavior shapes results. It all starts with how we speak, listen, and lead.
To all our listeners, thank you for joining us across these 12 episodes. We hope this series has helped you reframe communication not just as a skill, but as a strategic force for leadership and influence.
And as you go forward, remember that your words can shape minds, your tone can build bridges, and your presence can shift entire cultures.
Thank you, Lily, and to our listeners, and always remember, So go lead with clarity, courage, and connection, because when you communicate with purpose, you influence with power. If you found this episode of Corporate Communication useful, don't forget to join our Leadership Academy at tagbizsutra.com. Do share it with your friends and colleagues and leave your review. Until next time, goodbye, everyone, and keep building the culture you wish to see.